Good morning, students. We're going to be covering 3.3 and 3.4 today. Um, if you have any questions on how to do it, feel free to ask. Today's going to still be building on the same concept of solving multi-step problems and solving problems with variables on both sides. They kind of are the same lesson, but they're broken in half. So there's this idea that to solve for x, you need to do SAD map. If you're wondering, it's you remove addition and subtraction first, then multiplication and addition, exponents and parentheses. Okay, so this method is really just a way of looking at what we're doing here. Now, usually we need to combine like terms first. And so if you can, you want to combine like terms as early as possible. So we get 5x minus 10 equals 20. Now we have a addition and subtraction and then a multiplication. So we do the addition and subtraction. So we get it to the other side. We want x by itself. So we add 10 to both sides. We get 5x equals 30. Finally, we do the division property of equality. So to divide both sides by 5, we get x equals 6. Okay, so that is our first step. So that is just the first idea. And you can look at it in the book and do the same thing. Okay. Ooh, my apologies. Now, there's two ways of doing this, but the main way is since you have variables outside and inside of parentheses, you're going to want to distribute first. The reason why we want to distribute before we do anything is because it's actually going to simplify stuff. So let's distribute 7x plus, and then 2x plus 2 times 6 is 12. And this equals 39. So first step, combine like terms. Get 9x plus 12 equals 39. Then we're going to have to subtract because we're doing SAD map now. Subtract 12 from both sides. We get 9x equals 27. Divide both sides by 9. X equals 3. Okay, so that would be our answer. That's the process we use. Again, remember we distributed first, and this is showing all the steps. Okay. Now the book does the exact same ideas, so if you're curious, I am not getting this from anywhere else. This is a simple way of doing it. Okay, it's the same idea. It's just a standardized test prep, so we're going to skip that. Multiplying by the reciprocal. Now, if you notice in this example, there's no parenthesis, there's no outside with x, right? This is just inside. So actually, if we looked at this, our parentheses is last. Inside this parentheses is last. So actually, we're going to be doing division and multiplication first because that's outside the parentheses. So we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, 2 over 3. And so these two cancel. So then you get 3x plus 5 equals, and then negative 24 divided by 3 is negative 8 times 2 is negative 16. Okay, so now we do SAD map. So go negative 5, subtract 5 from both sides, we get 3x equals, this is negative 21, remember, two negatives combined, they become more negative, divide by 3, divide by 3, x equals negative 7. Now make sure you're following the steps, and also check your work. Okay, it's a great way of checking your work. So, how do we know we use reciprocal? Um, the reason is because there's only the variable on the inside. If the variable is also on the outside, then you can distribute first. Can you distribute in questions like what we just saw first? Yes, it is possible. It's just going to be extra steps. Okay. Okay. A flock of cranes migrates from Canada to Texas. It takes 14 days. So we know it's 14 days. They give us how many hours? 336 hours. And travels 2,500 miles. Its average speed is 25 miles per hour. How many are spent not flying? So, remember, distance equals rate times time. Except this time is going to be, so distance is 2,500, rate is 25, and hours is going to be 336 minus how many it's resting. So x is actually rest. Okay? So there's two ways of doing this. We can either multiply this out or divide this to both sides. I'm going to divide both sides by it because it's on the outside of the parentheses. So this would become 100 equals 336 minus x. Well, if you do the math, you're going to get, this is probably the easiest way of doing it. In our heads, we might be already able to do this part. So negative 236 equals negative x. So x equals 236 hours. So it's going to be 236 minus x. Oh, okay. So 236 is the amount of rest it had. So it only flew 100 hours. The rest is spent resting. So it gives you a context for how long it needs to rest for each time it does activity. Okay. So that is going to be our word problem. That's going to be our questions for today. We will cover some of the questions in the book to practice some of the ideas. Okay? Thank you so much, guys. I will see you in the next video.